GM.
GM. Interesting kind of a whistling thing. The ending is funny. It's just like, okay, let's end. Fun.
Dude, that thing spans so many genres right there. Like, there's so much going on in that music. That was amazing.
No kidding.
But all tied together, all summed up with one word: fun. It was a fun song. That's why we played it today.
It's the funnest.
And you have tuned in to the Neko Alliance Japan NFT Talk X Space. Your co-host Sunrock, coming to you again from Neko Alliance. Still Sans Twitter, and Neil, co-host. GM to everybody. Yep.
GM.
So on the Neko Space, we talk about the Web3 and NFT space in Japan and around the world. We talk to creators, Web3 artists, project builders, participants active in the space, and we do it every week at the same time. And we feature cool guests doing cool stuff. We talk for about 60 minutes with a featured guest, and then we talk for another segment for about 30 minutes, talking about projects, alpha, other stuff going on. And yeah, that's what we do. Shout out, we got Tony here up on stage. GM, sir. We got B-Skeet.
Woo!
Hello.
Hey.
And we've got Remy up on stage GM Remy,
GM.
awesome to have you here as always. And as more people come on into the room, well, I guess I'll just kick it off. Neil and I are really excited that Remy has been helping us with the project. Remy is a new member of the Neko Alliance team, and she recently discovered the world of Web3 just a few months ago. You're very new to the space, and that's going to be a big part of what we want to talk about today. But since that time, she's studied, she's learned a lot. She started participating in many Tokyo IRL events. She became very extremely interested in the world of digital art and AI as a way of expressing and creating in this world. And she's become a very prolific and talented digital artist using AI. And she's shown a lot of creativity. So it's really been amazing. Oh, and did I mention that she really loves cats? She loves Nekos. So I'm excited to have this conversation with Remy because basically we can hear a fresh perspective on, from somebody who's new to the space, who's kind of come in. We're always talking about, normies coming in or people who don't know much about what's happening. I think Remy is one of those people, and she's really gotten into it and has been learning a lot, and at the same time has been embracing becoming a digital creator. So, yeah, Remy, GM.
GM. Thank you very much for inviting me as a guest of this Neko X Space. But I'm very happy about it. And yes, as you introduced me, so I joined in this NFT world at the beginning of this year. So after that, I studied about NFT and Web3 world, about especially NFT and searching internet and reading a book. And I almost understand about that NFT world. And after that, I knew about AI designer. So I can make such painting, and I can make art by such AI designer platform. So I
Yeah.
started to make my art by using digital platform. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. I'll pin a tweet in a second showing some of your art. You shared with me so many amazing pieces, actually. I just wanted to keep it kind of limited to a couple different styles. But yeah, actually, I just wanted to kind of tell everybody how we met. A mutual friend introduced us and thought that actually I needed some help with some stuff on business, and we met for coffee, and we were just kind of chatting, and then we were talking about Nekos, and then you love cats so much, and you're really curious about what is Neko Alliance, what are we doing with this project, and all the different types of fun art that's being created in the space. So it kind of came up that way. We didn't really. There was no plan to to even talk about NFTs or Web3. It was like totally a different kind of conversation that we were supposed to do, but we got into it, and you became very curious. And so I'm wondering, as I guess as a first question, what sparked your curiosity? Was it just that you liked interesting art and cute stuff, or was there something else that we talked about that kind of got you triggered or interested? Because I think I can then follow up with some of the things that we then talked about, and then how you started to be really curious about the space. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that first meeting. If you don't, it's okay.
It's now
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, but cats, yeah. Now it's connected.
Yeah,
It's
so I think, like, I was showing you some of the art that we've looked at. I showed you some stuff that actually Marimo had put together for us as like sort of mock-ups for Nekos. We looked at some of the art by Mu, who is actually the designer for the PFP for Neko Alliance. And then I showed you pudgy penguins, and you love the pudgy penguins.
It was so cute.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. So I mean, the secret sauce beyond all the other stuff that Pudgy Penguins is doing, it's the cute art. Don't
Yes.
lose sight of that fact. I think Web3 people, but um, yeah, it was interesting that we got together again, and then you wanted to talk about Nekos and NFTs and this space, and then you were really curious about what kinds of people are creating the art and what kinds of people are getting together. So we talked more about it, and then you were interested, and I invited you to a couple IRL events, a couple events, in Tokyo. We went to the Bonsai NFT event that
Yeah, yes.
Majisuke did, and then we went to Knox Gallery for an event. How was that experience?
Yeah, bonsai. At first was bonsai NFT. It was my first experience of such kinds of event, and I was super surprised, and there were so many great artistic bonsai. Even I am a pure Japanese, I never saw such a great artistic bonsai because my bonsai image is a family small bonsai. My father was collecting so many bonsai, but it's a typical very simple and very small bonsais. So I was surprised. Oh, that is real artistic bonsai. Wow. Uh, and after that, so we went to Knox Gallery, and Knox Gallery, yeah, I saw, yeah, lots of great art. At that day was such as Monkey Moto-san was main 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 art.
Yeah, main
Yes, yes,
exhibited
yes, yes.
artist. Yeah.
That fashion, yeah. I understand. Oh, these are very impressive and very great art. Even other all all exhibition was very great art, and so many people. They are very professional about art and digital world and NFTP, and very so many community people are gathering. I talked with them. I impressed. I feel it was impressive so much for me. Wow, this artistic community, this world is very great. And always so art. I like art because in elementary school and junior high school, I was very good at art and very good at painting, but I have no talent of music. But I like art. And even high school, that is my selective art subject. Of course, I choose painting art because I never choose music, and I learned such that oil paintings. But oil paintings was difficult. So, but now, even now, I'm very good. I'm very good at such that water painting. But it need longer time to make one art. But this digital, if I use digital platform, I can easily make so many greater art with much shorter time than real painting on canvas. Uh, so I understand. Wow, AI digital art is so great, and I started to practice, and now I can make much better quality art. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember at Knox Gallery. I remember you had a great conversation with Monkey Moto, and I think you met Denjin as well, who's here with
Yes,
us,
yes, I met.
who's
Yeah, I
who's
we
also
met.
yeah,
Yeah.
also an amazing artist. But you were saying, oh, it's so great because he's from Monkey Moto is from South Africa, but he's here and he's able to meet with all these people in Japan, and he's been doing stuff internationally, and he's been able to make art that anybody can see in around the world, digital art, and people who like it were able to
Yes.
buy it and collect it and share it with their friends or share it share it with people. So you said that it was an amazing opportunity for people who had some talent or had something that they wanted to express to be able to do that. And so I think it was at that event when you said, I would really like to try doing something on my own. And
Yeah.
I really like to focus on cats. And by the way, I just pinned something to the top. These are just a few examples of some art that Remy has been putting together, which I think are great.
And what you just described about Monkey Moto and his journey, and like what you just said sums up what Neko Alliance is. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, it's amazing that yeah, we can meet people like him. We can become friends. We can hang out in Tokyo. We can, he can talk on our Twitter space, and we could just connect with people like that. It's
Yeah,
been
and then
amazing.
connect him to Knox Gallery, which can put, that's the whole web that Neko Alliance represents.
Yeah, I mean, trying to do that. That's been the whole goal. It's been bridging between Japan and the rest of the world. Introducing people. Just spreading the word. So yeah, we've been trying to do that. I don't know if we can take credit for Monkey Moto. I mean, he was here and he was doing stuff with Wen Tokyo, and he knew Felix quite well, and he knew, I think,
Yeah, I'm
Japan
not
did as
saying take
well.
credit for Monkey Moto.
Yeah.
I'm just saying what his journey is very much what Neko Alliance is all about.
Yeah, and I appreciate that completely, 100%. And people like being able to talk to people like Remy who get it, who actually see something, they're not familiar with it, but they can kind of get what it's about and be curious about learning. And the other thing, also, Remy, I don't know if you remember at the bonsai event, you were really amazed how, because that was the first time you were actually talking to people besides me. And
Yes.
I think we talked to Neil as well. We had a meeting with Neil, and so you're very much, we were talking about Neko Alliance, and you said you're interested, but at that time it was wow, these really amazing bonsai, actually they are, there's digital versions of those, so people can actually buy those in a way that's very easy and convenient, and actually participate and be part of that community. And you met people who own many bonsai, and so we had really good conversations with them. And then at that time he was also talking about real world assets, Majisuke. So ways of actually like expressing, using NFT technology to express, physical ownership. So that's something. So there's a lot of things that he was talking about, and I think it really appealed to you. But certainly the way it would be easy to be part of that community just through something digital.
Yes. I remember because at first I was big misunderstanding if people if people buy such some very great, gorgeous artistic bonsai, the new owner must take care of bonsai by themselves. But it was biggest mistake. It's NFT. They bought NFT and they become owner. And such a very gorgeous artistic bonsai will be taken care of professional bons, gardener, bonsai technician people. Yeah. So I understand. Oh, NFT is a very great system.
Yeah, the gardener was there. It was amazing. He was
Yes.
taking care of the stuff, and
Yes,
Majisuke.
I was watching. Wow, the professional gardener. They are packing and unpacking. What they are doing is super professional.
100%, totally.
Yeah.
So then it was amazing because at first we were just talking about how we just Neil and I really wanted some more help, and we wanted to get a better pace of doing stuff with Neko Alliance, and being able to talk to Japanese artists and bring more people in, because we have our Neko Alliance OG collection, which we've been teasing for quite a long time. But maybe we'll have a couple little teasers later on today, maybe Neil. But yeah, we're just looking for more help. But you wanted to just understand it better and wanted to create. And you mentioned that you used to be you used to make art as a younger person, which I guess you mentioned that, but it was something that you had given up because you were working and doing different things, but you thought here's a great opportunity to revisit that and to express your creativity again. So I want to hear more about how you started studying AI, how you got into it, what you were reading and how you were learning, because I think there's probably a lot of people who would love to try to express themselves artistically, but it's really hard. For example, for me, I can't sketch anything, I can't draw anything, but I've got ideas, and I feel like I've got creativity. I think this could be a great way to show that. You were an artist before, but for people like me, like how would just kind of talk about how you were able to learn the tools and then just use that to start
Yes,
creating and expressing yourself.
yes. So it was my first experience, and but if you have an idea, it's enough to make good art by using AI platform. So now I'm using the program such as the copilot designer. So I always make a prompt about my imagination and my idea and what's this color, this image, this shape. I explain it very clear and detailed and order AI. And so for art will appear. And if sometimes maximum two, sometimes maximum two is good. And but every time such that one or two of four arts are my favorites. So I will continue and I will recollect and remake a part of prompt and I will order again. And I started to practice. And at first, I was very, very happy to make very cute ragdoll cat digital art. Probably you know.
Yeah,
And so
those I've seen, and you've got an Instagram account too, which we
yes.
should talk about, but where you've put a lot of the ragdoll cats up. But
Yes.
but then you've tried a lot of different styles of art and a lot of different.
Yes. Yes.
So like, what are you using? What programs are you using? How are you doing it? And how are you doing the prompts? And Denjin, if you want to jump up, if you have any thoughts on prompts or AI, please do. But yeah, but Remy, what are you using and how are you making the prompts?
Prompt is my idea and my imagination of art. So I want to make this kind of art, this shape, this color, details are like this one, and of course always cat appear on my art. And that is the program. Now I'm using the program. That program name is Copilot Designer. Probably it must be famous. Mm. So and but now I'm thinking and I'm planning to choose program Mid Journey Mid Journey near in future. But now I'm using the program Copilot Designer. But yeah, soon I will start it to use Mid Journey. I will try. But anyway, this program Copilot Designer can make very great so many cats art. Yeah, so yeah, after I succeeded to make very cute ragdoll. It was at first it was anime style. So at first I started to make like comic style, anime style, cute cats, cute characters. After that, I started to try so many variations like such impressionism, realistic, and photo style, and other my try like fashion variation, so many kimono variation, so many girls dress variation, and this time I tried boys fashion. So there are two cats who are wearing very cool fashion, cool boys fashion cat. Yeah, and finally I started to try the theme, uh, Western culture and Japanese culture.
Like mixing
So
Japanese and Western culture, right? Into your
yeah,
pieces. Yeah.
yes. So I tried three patterns. So this there are four of my AI art. So that the left side bottom one, that is my try for such that pure Western culture. My image is like background is Art Nouveau with medieval Western woman, Western white woman with dress, with cat. And there is not a mixed version, but second try is mixed version of Japanese culture and the Western culture. And third try is pure Japanese culture. That is that right side, bottom one, that is that only black and white. This is pure Japanese history. And black ship, and the end of Edo period, black ships came to Japan, and after that Japan changing to Meiji period, and at the beginning of Meiji period, is the people started everything, and the culture started to mix with Western culture and Japanese culture. So now my theme and my dream, I want to make the Japanese history and culture of from the end of Edo period to at the beginning of Meiji period. For example, Edo period such that somewhat I use background like Edo Castle is a symbol of such pure Japanese culture Edo period. But in Meiji period, such that Western culture entered into Japan, and Japanese government and Japanese high society people made very gorgeous high society dance form. It's called rockmaker. It's a typical Western architect. So I want to make such that the Japanese history and culture series from the end of Edo period to at the beginning of Meiji period. Yeah, but anyway, so I tried so many patterns, and even so many, and I learned, and I read the book, and Art Nouveau pattern, Art Deco pattern, and like Japanese typical ukiyo-e and impressionism and realistic. And so I mixed, especially for background, such a mixed pattern with Art Nouveau and ukiyo-e. And yeah. So I understand such prompt, such idea, imagination is important, but and the knowledge is important to add the technique of art, and so knowledge of technique of art is important too. So I'm still studying and practicing and making AI digital art. Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's great that you were highlighting the fashion element. A lot of the ones that you shared with me, there's so many interesting fashion, obvious examples of fashion and how you've mixed Western and Asian or Japanese fashion together in the pieces. There's so many, I couldn't choose one. I think that represents one of those that you're talking about.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
it'd be great to
Yes,
put another tweet out that maybe highlights a few of those, a few examples of those. But
yeah, 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 yeah. Any favorites you can
mm,
choose. No problem, no problem.
yeah, yeah. So that's amazing. And regarding for Neko Alliance, so you've been very interested to do stuff with us, mostly because you like cats. So we appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you for that. But also,
I'm a super cat.
huh?
So all of my art, cat. There is a cat.
I noticed that. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I noticed that on your Instagram and on your Twitter.
Yes.
There's something that there's a common thread. Everything's a cat. Yeah, I noticed that.
Always cat appear.
Yeah.
There is cat in any art.
So yeah, so you're creating art, but you're also so you're cooperating with us and helping us. And as we talked about, we've got a collection that's coming out, OG collection. We're gonna have many artists who are all going to be collaborating as part of that collection. And the nice thing is that you are going to help us with a lot of the coordination and communication with a lot of those artists, which we really appreciate. So any
Yes.
artists who are interested in working with us, reach out to Remy because she's going to be helping us.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we kind of had a Japanese Twitter space that we were doing for a little bit, and we put it on hold. We're planning to reboot that, and just before we put it on hold, you were helping us MC those. So I think that there's going to be a good opportunity for you to be helping us host those. I hope we
Yes,
do more of that.
Japanese version. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Neil, I don't know if you want to come on and maybe we can talk a little bit about the collection and what we're trying to do. But definitely, we are going to be well. We have a number of artists that are already on board and we're working with, but we're looking to bring more people in to cooperate with, and Remy's going to be a big part of that, helping us coordinate.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've talked about it many times, and I know it's probably seems like we rugged our own project before we even launched it so many times, but behind the scenes, it's been inching forward. It hasn't been going backwards. So it's still, yeah, we're getting closer. We have a sort of a mint date in mind, and we have the pieces falling into place. And one of the things I could drop here is that we have decided that we are going to be doing it on base. Way back, we were talking ETH. Then we kind of put it up for like a debate, and we thought about some different chain ideas. But this first OG collection is going. It's going to be on base.
Nice. We've made a decision. We pulled Neil away from ETH mainnet, and we're doing base. I think it's a good decision.
It's good enough for Doodles, right? So they just announced their Doodle
that's true,
studio is going
yeah.
to base. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they moved that.
They're leaving Flow.
Leaving Flow, man. God, it's like I'm glad to hear that. The flow idea that was a bit of a disaster.
But Neil, you still have some socks and stuff on Flow, right?
I
Probably.
don't know how this is gonna I have a bunch of overpriced socks on Flow, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. I literally have not even like gone back to Flow after I sort of like opened that stuff up and go, okay, I got like another pair of socks. Great. But it just Flow isn't one of the happening places this cycle. But who knows? Maybe they got a way to come back later.
Yeah, so well, huge announcement there, Neil. Doing some bass, and we are actively looking for artists. So again, talk to Remy, talk to us, and we're shooting for trying to get our first few. What would you call them? First few artists out next month. That's our goal.
Yep.
And to coincide with Decentral Tokyo timing, so be on the lookout. This is happening. We're not regging again, Neil. This is happening.
This is happening, man. All right.
Cool. So I don't know. Yeah. Go ahead. Somebody. Biscuit.
I kind of had a question. It's sort of vague though, but you were talking earlier about how you would practice with the AI. How exactly do you practice? Like,
Yeah,
what does
Remy,
practice look like?
did you get that, Remy? So you practice your AI prompts. How do you practice?
How I
Yeah.
practice? How I practice? Yeah. Because I was enjoying I was enjoying so almost every day, almost 30 minutes to 1 hour. I was trying to make thinking and directory such typing prompt, and I made art, and after that I recollect and I remake a part of prompt, and only repeating it every day. And after that, yeah, I started to search about such that artistic knowledge about, for example, what is Art Nouveau, what is Art Deco, what is Impressionism, what is realistic, and how about such that. How about the Japanese culture? How about the Western style culture? Yeah, I searched the internet and I read the book about the art, and even art have technique. So yeah. Real such that making prompt every day, and recollect, rewrite, repeating it, and plus I was searching about such that knowledge and technique of art. Yeah.
And I think it does help if you have certain knowledge. Like for example, in your case, you have knowledge of fashion. It probably helps to have a bit of knowledge about some of the vocabulary, some of the styles, like specific words and specific names of certain things, to be able to dial in the prompts, get them a little more correct. Have you found that to be the case? If you put in some very specific words, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong because I haven't made AI, but that was my understanding. Is that true?
Yeah, because like so, especially needs to become like practice, because I was trying to make so many fashion dress and kimono and typical such that daily fashion. Of course, model is cat, not a human, but that cloth is. It's of course it's okay for human beings, and because I'm very interested in fashion, and fashion. Because I have a fashion like artist. I have a little artistic background because my mother was a professional fashion designer. Yeah, so she graduated professional cutting school, and that school is as same as very Japanese famous women designer Hanae Mori, and Junko Shimada. and it's a real professional school who become a professional fashion designer. And she was working in such the apparel world for long years. And in my house, there are multiple mannequins and multiple 3 or 4 professional machine. And she taught me the coloring and designing and the combination of color and what's pattern of design. And she gave me the basement knowledge of such the design. So it's become my base, but I have my own taste. So with and I have such that basement knowledge plus I add my own taste and my imagination and my idea. Yeah.
I have a
And you had
question for you.
cats.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Biscuit.
Cats. Yeah.
So I have a
Cats.
question for you. If you had to pick A or B, are you A, learning how to better talk to the AI, or B, learning how to better articulate your imagination? Like, which of those do you think is more important in your practice?
B's imagination. So
Yeah,
Steve,
say
so
that. Yeah,
sorry.
Biscuit, say that again.
So would you say you're more learning how to speak to the AI, learning how to command it, or more learning how to
Oh,
articulate what it is you want to do?
Like giving your
imagination.
idea, like giving your idea is B. Like being able to,
Yes.
yeah, something like that.
Yes. That's right.
So it's second one, you think?
Yeah, second
Okay.
one, imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Biscuit, it
That's really interesting.
might not be either or situation though, because I
No,
think
I don't
like
think it is necessarily either or, but I do think you're probably working harder on one or the other.
yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of circular too, right? Because definitely everybody doing AI is fighting the AI to get it to do something that they imagine, right? And it's not, and it doesn't quite do it, and you're like trying and trying to figure out the secret
Yeah.
prompt that will make that work. But then, you see stuff, and then that sets your imagination going. So, I mean, I think it's also very circular. Love to hear Denjin's thoughts on that if he wants to jump up.
Yeah, but Remy, I think you've done a good job. You have a certain idea in your head, a certain imagination. For example, like the kimono that you've put on some of your in some of your art and some of the Western style fashion, and
Yeah.
have been able to really make it look really appealing. I think whatever you've done, you've made it so that somebody like me can look at it and say that really fits really nicely, and it happens to have a cat, which is really nicely done, and you have 5 fingers on your on the hands, which is a big feat as far as I've heard, because I've seen a lot of 6 finger and 4 finger people in AI. So good job on that, Denjin.
So
GM.
yeah.
GM guys, thanks for having me up.
Hey,
Yeah.
Denjin.
So yeah, I mean, AI's obviously come a long way. Like I think only seeing more and more people using it now, and maybe even the last few days we've seen a ton of updates from like Runway with their like I think it's V3 that's coming out, and Luma, which is really cool, and it's just becoming easier for everyone to pop in and start using. So we're just going to keep seeing more and more adoption. And it's always interesting to see just kind of the public perception on it too. Like I don't know if you guys followed the whole Petra Babes collection and stuff that's on Foundation right now. But there was a whole kerfuffle between like an artist who found out it was AI, and then was like really distraught by it, and then started appropriating the look for herself, which is a bit ironic. And then, but that just put the original AI artist, who's kind of the tastemaker, kind of in the limelight, and she has this big collection that's been doing really well on Foundation right now. So, yeah, never a dull day with AI art.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think the future of art, do you think it's inevitably going more in the way of AI, that more and more artists will be using it or will be put into this position where they start using it? Like that
100%.
example.
I mean, it's
Yep.
at the end of the day, it's still a tool, right? And I mean, when Photoshop came out and all these digital production suites and softwares came out and became more accessible and more affordable and what have you, they all got adopted, just like with digital cameras and all that stuff too. So, you know, even if it's not like the main focus of their flow, you know, we're using AI. Musicians are using AI, like have been using AI for a very long time, and it's just a part of the tool set. So yeah, I think it's just going to become more and more melded to each individual artist's kind of identity and thumbprint and imagination and things like that, and to the point where, you know, I think people are just going to stop losing focus on it so much and just start paying attention to the actual work that's coming out, as it melds into that and just continues to evolve.
Couldn't you define auto tune as a form of AI?
I mean, that's exactly it. Like, there's different tools. Like, it's not like like just voice is AI, right? Like now AI can handle all of that, like the rhythm, the lyrics, the voice, the vocals, all kinds of stuff. But you know, years before this, they've been having all kinds of, exactly, like auto tune and all kinds of things that relied on AI mechanisms to create content. So, yeah, it's just funny that, you know, the visual aspect of it has become much more prevalent recently, but it's, you know, AI has been around for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean that was my sort of how I sort of saw things going. It's part of the tool set, and people are inevitably it's going to be used in some fashion. So I give you another example. Even if artists are not using it specifically to make the art with prompts, they're using it for ideas. And you mentioned that with music and different things. It's an idea generator, even if it's not being utilized for the actual creation. And
Yeah,
actually, I had a conversation with Chris, who's Chris Paints, Chris, who's an artist here in Tokyo, foreign artist who is very well known in the community, and he's got this little thing. He calls it AI made me do it, and he's talking about how he strictly does not use AI in his creation, but he uses it for ideation and you know, helping him kind of, you know, see things, and then he does it on his own. He creates it on his own. So it's one thing that he's experimenting with. So I think there's great examples of that.
yeah. I mean, the speed and efficiency and all that stuff that AI really helps artists accomplish is obviously, it's huge, and I think a lot of people can see that. And even if they say, "Oh, it's not in my final creation," it's like, well, you didn't use it to create the painting, but you still used it in part of your creation process. So, and I think that's where, like, you know, people can get all, um, I guess, down to the details about it, or maybe concerned about it, or what have you. But it's, again, it's a tool, and, you know, obviously he's using it as a tool to help create these ideas, and then eventually a painting and things like that. So, yeah, it's just going to be more and more common.
I just wonder how much language is a barrier to fully utilizing it. I know that sounds weird, but when the artist can more directly apply their intent, I feel like they'll be better with AI. And I'm
It's
not sure if it's about learning how to talk to the AI or learning how to articulate to
it's
the
not
AI what you're feeling.
necessarily just a language thing. Like, as things evolve, we see language becomes less of a necessity. It's more about just that control and being able to exert that control on the AI. So, as these things are changing, it's becoming more user friendly. It's becoming more of a UI thing, and having dials and switches and things like that for people that aren't so good at prompting. Obviously prompting is still part of it now, but I think as things continue to evolve, like obviously, being able to understand a human language is great, and being able to talk to something like in a way we would talk to each other naturally is also, really helpful. But I think, just as with learning, like people do things in different ways, and it helps to have like multiple like kind of modalities for being able to exert control over the eye and what the output is. So I don't know that language is going to be this like kind of end all be all for very
But
long.
but language is also how AI learns as well. Like its learning is reinforced by language reinforcement. So like think about how much it breaks open your use of AI. Like Remy was talking about when she was like, I needed to learn the different styles of art because I needed to learn how to tell the AI that that's what I wanted to see, or how much it breaks it open for people when they're like, wait a minute, if I can figure out what film this was filmed on and with what aspect ratio, I can tell it to reproduce something that looks like that. That's a form of learning language. You're learning how to talk to the AI. You have an idea of what you want, but the more specifically you can articulate the mechanisms by which the AI will identify that, you're learning to talk the AI's language. Do you feel like I'm way off on that?
No, I mean, that's one aspect of it, but then you have AIs that can look at a drawing that you created and then recreate that in a style that's more, to a specific look or preference or what have you. And that's another way of kind of communicating with the AI, but you're not actually really using language. Like you're drawing an actual, thing on a canvas. So, you'll still need to have, some form of language in order to kind of influence that style, like kind of like you mentioned, like a 35 millimeter camera or, aspect ratio or what have you, things like that. But it's, I mean, some of those things are so, like common and, like oftenly used that you don't really necessarily need to tell it. Like take a 3D program, for example. Like we have all these render settings and we can always choose from almost the same like focal lengths of lenses every time, right? It's usually like a drop down, and then if you want to go really crazy, you could input some custom number. But like limiting that stuff down to just being like a drop down versus like, write whatever you want helps kind of compartmentalize and helps kind of, people who are used to like certain ways of creating, get in there and do that instead of having to just like tell it something every time in like a text box. So yeah, I think it's just one of those things that's like changing over time, and as people look to make things easier to use and more accessible, who knows how long this like big, giant text box is going to be like kind of the main way. Obviously it is kind of when it comes to Midjourney and things like that right now, but even with like Stable Diffusion, um, we see like Comfy UI and Automatic 1111. Like a lot of that now has just turned into, your prompt is one aspect, but the majority of the work is like dialogue boxes or drop downs or switches and things like that. So they just need to make it a bit less cumbersome and crazy.
Nice. Well, thank you, Denjin, for your perspective on that. Jumping up,
Sure.
talking with us. To be seeing how things play out. But yeah, you mentioned about the text box. I've seen some things actually just in the last couple of days, in addition to all the video stuff that's coming out, which is like actual like visualization, like sort of drawing in some kind of like I don't know how I would say it, like some kind of like drawing box or something, and then somehow the text prompts are ways of dialing it in further. I think that we've already like turned that corner.
Yeah, I mean,
Things
just
like
being able to upload an image onto Luma is a big change for some people. You know, and a lot of people, they didn't know how to do the big text box thing, but like you can literally just put your sort of reference image up into Luma, you know, like I did with my clone, just like really quick, just to test things out, and it works pretty well for what it is.
Looks
And
so
that's
good, dude. That was such a sick little piece.
that was, I mean, it was literally just like trying to figure out because the prompting here you still have to kind of tweak it and do that stuff. But no, it's cool that like these models are so powerful now that you can give it a reference image like that, and it kind of can figure things out. But yeah, I'm, you know, for me personally, I still see a lot of the same quirks and kind of, you know, annoyances, I guess, with this Luma, but it's making it so much easier to access and interface with, that like we're seeing a huge influx of people doing it now. You know, we could have already done that with Stable Diffusion and Comfy, but there's a lot of you know, technical and like hurdles that you have to kind of overcome or know how to work around. And now that they've made it more accessible, yeah, we're just gonna see it more and more. And then, you know, personally, I'm still really excited about Sora if and when that ever comes out, because that just looked, you know, while it has this particular look to it, it still looked a lot more powerful than, you know, just the stuff that Luma's even doing. I'm still seeing a lot of the same kind of fallbacks. Fallbacks is the wrong word. Like pitfalls, kind of, with Luma stuff and just some of the outputs that it creates.
And Luma, you're limited, isn't it? 5-second clips.
Yeah, you can extend them now. They added an extend feature, so you can extend from one. But yeah, they're like 5 seconds, and if you're using the free tier, it's like 10 generations a day. But yeah, they have a paid tier where you can get more.
So once the Neuralink is like a popular thing and people have direct communication to their computer with their brain waves, that's when AI is really going to break out.
Man, I don't know about that.
You're gonna be able to go to sleep at night and then wake up and watch your dreams, like
Yeah.
as reinterpreted by AI.
Oh my God.
And isn't there like a whole subset of people that
Amazing.
are like into the whole lucid dreaming thing? Like, isn't that I haven't really
I,
followed
I
that.
can I can lucid dream. I love
Yeah.
it. I met the guy who invented lucid dreaming. He actually figured out, because he does a dream lab, that there are certain things you do in REM sleep that are eye movement. He's the one who proved that rapid eye movement is you looking around in your dreams. And he would have people go into lucid dreams and signal that they were lucid dreaming by doing something like walking up some stairs. Because when you walk upstairs, your eyes do a specific pattern of going up to the stair above and then back down to the stair you're on and up to the stair above. And you would signal that you were in a lucid state by performing those actions. I find it super fascinating.
Yeah, I never really looked too much into it myself, but it's interesting. The thought of it is pretty cool. So, you know, whether, you know, the whole Neuralink thing, like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm like dying to get that installed anytime soon, but it is cool to think about that kind of future being a reality in some cases.
And there are people who are developing ways of doing it that don't involve direct implants into your brain.
How did you end up meeting the guy that did the whole lucid dreaming thing? How did that come about?
I had a professor, this dude's super trippy. So I had a professor who was teaching us how to, it's a form of meditation. He calls it centering, but it's sort of a going to that objective space inside yourself where your thoughts all go to be interpreted and you're objectively watching yourself think. And I know it sounds crazy, but I'm taking classes from this dude in psychology and he's teaching us how to center, and I'm used to meditating. I understand what he's talking about. And he and the other guy went to college together, and the two of them started doing this stuff because they had migraines and they wanted to be able to control the flow of blood to their brain to control the migraines. So they started centering, and they got to a point with the centering, which I've never reached but can understand. because you're objectively watching yourself think, he's had surgery, open surgery on his wrist without anesthesia, just watching himself. And it's not that he doesn't feel pain. He's like, wow, look at my body freak out right now. This is crazy. And the two of them would basically, they got to a point where they could induce drug states and they could walk around campus effectively high on LSD without having taken LSD because they could mimic the brain state. Like the two of them are extremely good at controlling their own thought processes.
That's really interesting. I've always been kind of fascinated by stuff like that because you see that come out with like these, like the monks in China and all that, and do stuff like that too. And that's definitely beyond me. I haven't taken any time to focus on.
I used to have really, really bad loss of control dreams, falling dreams, like to the point where 2 or 3 nights a week I would wake up terrified because I was falling off something. And he taught me how to use lucid dreaming to get into a lucid state and then to eventually conquer that. And it didn't go exactly as is programmed. Like you're supposed to fly. I didn't fly. I literally fell, but didn't come out of sleep. And I remember hitting the ground, but then I got up and walked to my destination. And that part sort of went a lot like I had learned it was supposed to go. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I vaguely remember different aspects of it. And I've never had a loss of control dream since I had that experience.
It's crazy.
Very, very interesting. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you, Denjin. Appreciate the input and your knowledge and experience and perspective on stuff is always really, really appreciated. Always great for us for the conversation. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So we're at the end of the this first segment. Remy, do you have any other things you want to mention, or any last thoughts before we end?
Yeah, I could talk everything I want to tell. So yeah, I'm very happy to talk in this network space about my art and digital art. And my digital art level will be improved much more in future. Please looking forward to
Excellent. And we didn't get too much
Thank you
into. We heard about your the fashion, sort of your fashion background a little bit. We didn't get into other things, but one thing, and the other thing I wanted to get into was the British Columbia Canada connection. That basically sealed the deal for you joining us when you found out Neil was from British Columbia, and you lived there for a number of years.
I love Canada.
Yeah.
I love Canada.
So we'll get into that next time at some point. But anyway, thanks a lot, Remy.
Yeah. Oh, thank
Great
you very much
conversation.
for inviting me. Thank you very much.
Okay, well thank you, Remy, and we're gonna get into the second segment. We're gonna get into stuff happening in the market.
Yeah, thank you, Remy. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, a few things. Hey, Tony, GMGM.
Hey, so the market seems to be dumping right now. Like Bored Apes and Pudgy Penguins are under 10 ETH. So
wow.
I'm not sure if there's a specific reason, but it kind of surprised me because it's been holding strong at 10 ETH, but they're both under now.
Is that today? It just started?
Yeah, I just noticed right now. Like this morning, I think it was still over 10 ETH, but right now when I looked, it was under.
Yeah, I think we've been having, things have been going sideways and Bitcoin's kind of like been going down a bit. I think there's just like sort of like, I think we're supposed to be in a bull run, but I think that we're hitting like max discouragement or something. I don't know what it is, but it's, anyways, there's still stuff going on. So Kate, let me talk about a few of those things. I mean, so a bit of an update on events first. So last Saturday, I guess, Solana Super Team Japan welcome party. So a Solana focused party here in Tokyo. Steve, you're at that one. Tell us a bit about that. Got a tweet here to pin from Marty Moe.
Yeah, just pinned it. No, it was good because Solana, as we've talked about, we had the Mad Lads team on before, and as we know, they're pretty underrepresented in Japan compared to other chains. So they made it very clear. So the super team, it's something that happens internationally, and they have got local guys here that are based here that are going to be doing stuff as part of this. But they made it very clear that they're looking to support projects and support stuff going on. And there was a tweet that was put out. I don't have it accessible right now, but it was basically like they check marked all of the big projects and all the stuff that Solana was supporting in some capacity, or at least the big maybe marquee projects, and they check marked anything that's in Japan. And there was one check mark next to Mad Lads, which moved here, and then there was a couple gaming things. So they made it very clear that they want to be doing more stuff. So we know that Avalanche has been doing a lot
Who
of
is
stuff.
they?
This Solana super team slash Solana, whatever it is, like the Solana chain, whatever group is trying to help support projects there. I should have had that tweet ready, but
I think
basically
it's
it's
I
like,
think it's a community. It's not like an official Solana presence. So I think it's a because like if you look at Super Team Japan, it says Nihon de Sonon Kaihatsu ya Web3 Kyomi. So it says like developers and people interested in Web3 on Solana. So it's yeah, it's not clear that it's like an official Solana thing, but clearly some of the people at the event were from Solana, right? Is that
yeah,
correct, Steve?
yes, for sure.
Yeah. And
Yep.
Solana is one of the big stories in this cycle. So yeah, it makes sense to have some more stuff happening here in Japan. So interesting to see what happens with that. And so moving on. So upcoming stuff. There is just okay. This is basically where it starts. We're about to hit the season of peak events in Japan, right? So the end of this month, the 28th, we've mentioned before, NFTR Tokyo Nat 4, so the fourth NFTR Tokyo, back at Trunk Hotel, although I heard it's expanded space. That's the 28th. And then so basically, somehow that's not part of Japan Blockchain Week, but Japan Blockchain Week starts immediately after that, from July 2nd right through the 31st. So once again, Japan Blockchain Week. Week is definitely a misnomer here because it's a full month. It's 4 weeks, and so there's. We're going to pin this tweet here, and you can see some of the stuff that's involved with that. So Blockchain Leader Summit, Decentral, EdCon, IVS Crypto, PlasmaCon, Web3 Future, and just a ton of other things. Like these are the official events, and then there's a bunch of other stuff that's going to be
Vitalik
happening.
is going to be going for EdCon, right?
Yeah, and so we got another tweet here from the Curve, from our friends at Curve Grid, about EdCon. So that EdCon's it's a full week. I guess it's basically hackathon. Hey William, if you want to jump up and like tell us a little bit about EdCon, go ahead and jump up if you're available to do that. But yeah, that'll be interesting having Vitalik in Japan again. But so yeah, it's going to be busy. So I guess the sort of the front end of that is IVS. So IVS happening from 4 to 6 in Kyoto again. So I'll be heading down to that. So that that was pretty big last year, I think. Yeah. Okay. So William can't jump up, but anyways, we'll maybe as that gets closer, we'll get him to pop by and tell us about it. But yeah, ton of stuff, just a ton of stuff. And okay, tweet here from Tony. I just got this awesome airdrop. Got it for holding a keto pass. So yeah, Horai dropped a little airdrop for keto holders. It's very cool. Anything you want to add to that, Tony?
Yeah, so that was for the keto pass holders. Seems like he's going to be doing just surprise little kind of gift drops from time to time. So that was really nice. I wasn't even expecting it, but cool to see another awesome piece.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, I checked, and there was one in my wallet too. So very happy to see that. It's, I mean, it's just incredible the stuff that he's cranking out these days. Can't say enough about it. So Zeal Chain had their launch. We talked about that last week, but now they've had some. They called the first reveal and holder awards. So they had some kind of reveal, but it's only the first reveal, and then a whole bunch of prizes that were handed out to people. Do you, Tony? Do you know what's the difference between first reveal and second reveal?
So the first reveal was like the character type. So like it's because it's kind of based around the whole RPG thing. So like there's I don't know, like an attacker, defender, like different types of roles. And so the first reveal just let people know like what kind they got, and the second one is the full reveal.
All right, so that's yeah. So the second reveal coming up soon. And here's, we're going to pin this, but I saw, so our guest last week, Mira Takeru, he dropped a little game, and not surprisingly, it's rice themed. And we talked about this when we had him on as a guest, that his name sort of is related to rice, and then that he's sort of incorporated that into his art. So he's got a little game here that he said he created the game with using AI, and it's falling stuff. You catch the falling stuff, but you're catching the grains of rice, but you're only supposed to catch the ones that are the same shape as the one you're playing with, and that adds points. And if you catch the wrong ones, it subtracts points. So it's harder than it looks and kind of fun, but interesting that he made the whole thing with AI. And then we got Bonsai Coin. So is that coming out today? Because there was a tweet just a few days ago, and then it said like in 3 days. Wait, the next thing is happening in 3 days.
Oh,
Do you know?
I thought it was a little bit later, but I didn't see that post today. I'm gonna have a space with Majisuke, the founder of Bonsai NFT, tonight at 9 p.m. It's going to be in Japanese, so I'll ask him more then. I didn't think the drop was going to be so soon.
Okay, so
though.
probably not today. So yeah, I wasn't quite sure about the meaning of that, like that. So I might have just sort of got that wrong. But it is coming up, right? It's coming up.
Yeah, probably in the next few weeks, but I don't know an exact date.
All right. So, well, you just slipped that news, so that's good to know. Spaces with Majisuke tonight. So tonight, Japan time. So definitely check that out. There's bound to be some alpha in there.
Possibly.
And let's pin Tony's tweet about the Miyajima Challenge, looking for sponsors, and so we can shout ourselves out here as one of the 2 sponsors so far. But you're happy to get more sponsors, right?
Of course, yeah. No, like other, so I'm walking from Kyoto to Hiroshima this October, documenting the whole thing, and so this is costly, so need sponsors, and I've been able to get 2 sponsors. One was W Club, a new project that's coming soon, and the other, the first sponsor was actually you guys, so Neko Alliance. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, like I've raised 5,500, which covers basically most of the costs, but there's taxes and stuff, and so if I can earn a little bit more, like to fund this, that would be great. So if anybody's interested, would be happy to have you come on. Just let me know. But it's happening for sure. I'm going to be there in October, and then probably in November 1st in the evening, I'll have another get together in the craft beer bar Sasazuka, and it's called Pintology in Tokyo. So that's the date that I'm shooting for. So if people want to come, November 1st is the date that it's probably going to happen. So it's all in the works. It's coming.
Yeah, Doge Day Eve.
Yeah,
So
Doge
that
Day
one.
Eve. Yep, next day is Doge Day. We go to Sakura City and go have fun over there.
Yeah. So anything else on your radar this week?
Not really. I mean, in terms of releases and all that, it's still quite slow. But yeah, we'll see. I'm most interested right now in Bonsai Coin because it's something different. It's a token coming from an NFT project in Japan, very very rare thing. And Majisuke always, he's a professional marketer. He does a good job connecting with people and all that. So it's an interesting development. So that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of tokens coming out of Japan yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if sort of like this, this and Abe
Yeah.
could kick off something. So interesting to hear that. I will probably pop in if I can pop in and hear what's going down tonight on that Spaces.
Thank you.
Didn't I see San Fran Tokyo, both collections at the top of the volume charts the other day?
Yeah, they revealed, so I guess that's driving volume. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if there's any further announcements at the moment, but there's always been that token is coming kind of thing. So they're working with Animoca Japan and all that. They've got that backing.
Yeah, they've been pretty consistently at the top too for
Mm-hmm.
ever since the Genesis Pass came out. So that's they have some pretty consistent volume. Okay, so this next thing I want to pin is kind of not specifically Japan related, but I thought it was kind of interesting. So Pleaser DAO acquired the Wu-Tang Clan album that after the crazy drug CEO, the drug company CEO,
Martin Scarelli.
yeah, I was gonna like not say his name, but the guy's a
We all know who he is.
We all know who he is,
Yeah.
but anyhow,
Yeah.
so he famously bought the one of one album back in 2015. Then he had his legal troubles and basically went bankrupt, and then that got like seized and auctioned off, and Pleaser DAO bought it for like a couple $1 million. And it's just interesting the Pleaser DAO's approach to buying very very iconic digital art. Although in this case, what they bought was a music album. So I think originally when that album was auctioned off as a one of one, there was some condition that it wasn't allowed to be played publicly until like 2103 or something. And but just the other day, Pleaser DAO dropped it as an NFT, so it's encrypted, and it says it won't be unencrypted until 2103, and it costs $1 per album, and you can buy them in bunches. But the thing it says on the website that's interesting, it says 2103 will come faster than you think, and the idea is if you buy this album for $1, you can buy it in 10. You can buy it in you can buy it like one. You can buy 11. You can buy 111, but each copy moves up the date like I forget, like a few minutes. And so if they sell enough, then the date will come sooner. So this is something they've presumably worked out with the band, and I think a lot of the primary sales of this is going to go to the band because some of the tweets they've talked about, artists should get paid. So, just interesting. And of course, the one thing that kind of ties this into Japan is like Pleaser DAO is that, they famously bought the original Doge dog photographs for like at the time like 4.5 million in ETH, and then basically that spun out into the Doge DAO. It spun out into a different DAO, but and then they created the dog coin, and we're basically selling a pixel. You can buy a pixel of the photo. So they bought it for this crazy price, but then they raised millions of dollars. So it's really smart the way they've sort of taken these iconic digital pieces and then turned this into, like, you think, okay, you just spent a ton of money on this thing, but then they've somehow turned it into like a revenue stream or basically just making something much bigger out of it. So maybe that's what they're doing again with this album. So definitely something to look at there.
That's a great heads up. Thanks, Neil.
Yeah, and so it's still it's available. I don't know, like, for how long. I mean, basically, I guess until the counter gets closer. But I think they also dropped some alpha saying that it's not just a matter of selling like 1 million of these NFTs. There's going to be other ways to move up the counter. So they've got more stuff planned. But pretty cool.
What chain is it on?
It's on Base, I think. I think it's on Base.
Thanks.
Yeah, I picked up a few. Yeah, it just seems. I mean, it's so cheap, right? It's like $1. Anybody can. It says the world's most expensive album is available for $1, which it's just kind of cool to be a part of this, I think. So if you got a spare dollar, you might want to pick up one of these.
What's the timer at right now? I picked one up kind of when they dropped
Let's
too.
Let's check it. So just clicking on that. So time until 2103. So it says 78 years, 244 days. So
that's a year less than I remember it.
Yeah. So
and each purchase moves it up basically a minute and a half.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot, but I mean, who knows? They said they have other stuff planned, and maybe they'll sell 1 million of these. Why not? It's
It'd be cool.
So yeah, kind of cool to see this happening, and it's the kind of thing you can jump in and be a part of for literally $1, right? So I think it's cool to check out. Okay. And my last tweet to pin is I forgot to do this, my new corner last week, but it's the Cryptogoro of the week, and this is pretty kind of timely to today's conversation because this is this is day 1079, and this is so Goro took his standard, kind of a classic Goro face, and then put it into Luma. When Denjin was talking about Luma earlier, and there you go. It zooms out and shows you like a Goro guy standing in the desert and in the Goroverse. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Also, if I was going to pick one this week, some of the other ones were pretty gory, or pretty stinky, actually. So common themes that show up in Goro's daily Cryptogoros are quite a bit of blood and gore, and a lot of poo. So this is a nice family version one. And that's about it for me this week.
I think that's it
Steve,
for me too.
I'm just wondering what the outro song's going to be after that amazing whistling extravaganza on the
Oh,
intro.
you liked it? You liked what I had before?
Yeah, I liked it.
Was that you whistling, son?
Huh?
Was that you whistling?
No, that was the song. The song was called "Cool Cats," and I did that especially for Miss Remy, who's going to be joining us today. It's called "Cool Cats" by Family Kush. Family Kush.
Wow.
No relation, I think, but I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. Remy, thanks a lot. It was a great conversation. And if you guys want to be part of
Thanks a lot.
if you guys want to be part of the OG collection, talk to Remy. She's helping us.
Thanks a lot too. Yeah.
All right. And on that note,
Hey.